You ever notice in anime the weirdest fucking names that are obviously like European based, but they just don't work? Or at least like, yeah, they don't work.
Yeah.
They're just really weird.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why? Like, Beetlejuice Romani Conti. ReZero, the fucking antagonist. What the fuck kind of name is that? It's just like
It's a weird name for a weird dude, bro.
yeah, because they just like mix together different.
Lad. What a guy. What a lad.
What a lad. Bacano. They just mix together like different languages too. It was
Yep.
like there was, yeah, I can't really think of.
I think you just gotta let this go. I stopped caring years ago.
Like, how do you pronounce that?
That's Gildere. That's a real person.
All right. Well, okay, no, the fact that I was thinking of was just foreign names.
Yeah, but that's a real human being.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Like, who is an actual serial killer of children.
that makes sense.
And also loyal ally of Joan of Arc. So, moving on from that shit.
What are we talking about today, Kyle?
We're talking about anime.
Animation?
Specifically from Japan.
Animagus? I can turn into an animal?
Still bringing up fucking Harry Potter.
Yeah.
All right, so peeling behind the
Animagy.
veil here, Cheyenne is going to be out of town for a week, so we need to record an extra
What?
episode. We can't really have anything, too current, so we're just talking about another one of these thingies.
Yeah, so
These
if
things?
something like amazing or crazy happened, that's why we're behind on times, and we'll pick it up next week.
We'll probably talk about it next week.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I was gonna bring something political, but I didn't want to.
Please don't.
So
We're not that kind of podcast.
Please,
Cheyenne,
God, no.
What are we talking
Yeah.
about today, Cheyenne?
Wait, I asked Kyle that.
Oh, Shy Kyle. Well, no, I wanted to
Shy
ask
Kai.
you because I want you to let us know before we get into any of our personal things.
Today's episode is brought to you by Kit
Verve?
Kats.
Oh,
And
They're yummy.
Yeah.
and
And coffee. Thank you, Starbucks.
Good and Gather purified drinking water. What the fuck kind of
Except
water is
for
this from?
none of them are paying us for anything. We paid for their products.
You have
They don't even know we mentioned
the
their names.
They don't
weirdest
know we
branded
exist.
waters.
Seriously, you always have different waters, and they're always just like off-brand generic weird shit.
Because it's water.
You have
Water is not all the same.
this is
Cheyenne.
Target.
Okay, well,
Distributed by
don't-
Target.
I don't buy
Oh, it's Target water. Last
But it's
time
not
was
up and up. Oh, it was Walmart water last
yeah.
time.
Last time was
Okay.
Walmart water.
I don't buy water bottles because they trash our planet. My parents
Yeah.
still buy them
Yeah.
because they're old school. I use a filter.
But
Leave
you're
me alone.
but it's processed by advanced filtration and reverse osmosis. And
But
your
plastic,
but also your refrigerator filter doesn't really work because it tastes like bad.
I think it tastes fine.
It tastes bad.
You're just picky.
So we're talking about our top 10 favorite anime of all
Yeah,
time.
and the reason I wanted
Yay.
Cheyenne, before we got into our personal things, I wanted
Oh.
Cheyenne to give us because you found a list, right?
Oh, you
Oh,
did not
We're doing this again.
prep me for this.
No, you said you were gonna. You
I
were
know,
gonna-
I didn't know.
You were out of the room when she's like, I don't think I'm going to use this list.
Oh.
You did not. Hold on.
So while we're waiting for Cheyenne to actually find her fucking list that Chase didn't prepare her for that she was going to be on the spot about, I would like to talk to you about the importance of drinking water. Do it.
Are you okay, Cheyenne?
It's 'cause she knows why I'm bringing this up. Drink a lot of water, kids. It's really good for you.
Refer to episode 32.
Drink a lot of water. It's real good for you. The end.
What happened in episode 32?
It got skipped for some people.
Oh,
Jesus,
yeah.
man.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Also, does anyone care what list I use? 'Cause
No.
I don't
No.
know.
I'm
what...
confident these lists are going to be terrible compared to my preferences anyway.
Yeah. No, I thought you were saying that because I don't hydrate myself and I'm always groggy and I don't take care of my body.
Chase, I don't give a shit about you. No, seriously, drink more water. My problem is I just forget. And my body just lives with it.
Yeah.
I feel like our bodies just slowly get used to the crap we put them through, and then
And it just doesn't go well. Do you have a list ready, Cheyenne?
I do have a list. It's not the original one
Well,
that I found,
well-
and I disagree with the first couple, but who cares?
well, number 10. Oh no, wait. Edward Elric is number 10 on the list of anime characters that have the most legitimate reason to go evil.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever.
Wait, who?
Edward
Edward
Elric.
Elric.
Okay.
Moving on from that.
That would have a legitimate reason to go evil.
Okay.
Oh, number 1, Grave of the Fireflies. I don't know what it's actually saying, but
It's
movie I will never
the-
fucking watch again ever.
The 13th
I wanna watch
bleakest,
that
most
so
depressing
much.
anime ever.
Possibly just movies.
Yeah.
Number 1.
I heard someone told me that absolutely broke them, and I was like, I need to watch. I
Oh my
skipped
God.
over it because I was like, nah, I'm not into
Well-
sad things. But she was like, it broke me for years, and I'm like, I need to watch
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
Alphonse Elric is now number 9 on the list of 40 best anime character backstories.
Cool. So Cheyenne,
Cool.
what's your list?
Wait, am I just reading it out?
Just go from 10 to 1.
Cool. Number 10, Naruto Shippuden.
Okay.
That feels weird on that, but whatever. Number 9, Bleach.
Uh-huh.
It's going
Number
to be one of these kinds of lists.
Yeah, one of those pop culture
Yeah.
anime.
yeah. Number 8, Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay.
Not Brotherhood.
Specifically, Full Metal
Yeah, okay.
Alchemist.
Not Brotherhood. Got it.
Number 7, Fairy Tail.
Okay.
Number 6, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay.
Okay.
we both have the same reaction.
That was my reaction as well.
Moving on.
Number 5, One Piece.
Okay.
I actually watched part of that one.
Yep.
That was my introduction into anime, in case anyone cares.
One Piece?
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. I watched it on Funimation.
You watched it before you watched Sailor Moon?
Yeah, I did.
Or
What the
Pokemon?
Yeah. Yep, before Pokemon.
No.
Oh my god.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
No.
I have a whole explanation for why,
Nope,
but
moving
nobody
on.
cares.
Moving on.
What?
Number 4, Attack on Titan.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I'm slowly
Wait.
losing my voice.
Okay.
Is number 1 going to be what I think it is?
You're most
it
hated?
might. It might.
Okay,
Keep
what's
going.
next?
I don't. No, actually, I don't think it's what you
Keep-
think.
Okay,
it is.
good.
Going.
But I feel like
number-
it's in the next 3.
Number 3, Naruto.
We
Wait,
put Naruto
what?
above Shippuden?
what?
What? Okay, I've had problems with this list already, but this is
That's weird.
to even include Naruto on this
So-
list with Shippuden at number 10.
I will say this list is one where people can vote up and down on stuff.
Okay, it's like a
So-
ranker sort of thing, but
Yeah.
it's not ranker.
Number
Gotcha.
2, Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
Okay.
And
What's
number 1, Death Note.
Okay, so
Okay.
actually,
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked. Sword Art
Yeah.
Online is nowhere on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
compared
because
to
I
those
thought
anime, yeah.
more about what you were saying. And I was like, no, it's not that one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Actually, yeah, the list I'm looking at too.
Pretty
which is
similar.
Ranker, yeah, it has Death Note at number 1 too. But at least it has Brotherhood at 3 and Shippuden at 4.
All right, we're just gonna. I think we're just gonna.
Brotherhood? Oh, on your list. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna give our lists now.
Sure.
Who wants to go first? We're just gonna alternate.
Ah,
We're gonna start
shit.
at 10.
See, I made this list.
Look, we both made these lists pretty quickly.
Yeah, this
You
is
did.
like, okay,
Do you no longer agree with
disclaimer.
your
No, disclaimer.
I don't believe this list tomorrow,
Yeah. Disclaimer. These, I would say, are probably my top 10 anime of all time.
but the order
Probably
is,
not in the correct order. The rough order-ish, but they could be moved completely.
So don't get offended by the
except
order.
For, except for probably my number 1 and 2. Number 1 and 2 are probably locked at 1 and 2,
Mhm.
but the rest could probably change and probably
My
in
number
any
one
order.
was my number 1 is locked. I'd say that's the only one of these shows that's locked where it is.
Okay. Do you want to start me to start number 10 or you?
Also,
Who went first last? Who went first
You
when we
did.
did our top 10 video
Yeah.
games?
You
Okay,
did.
so you go first this
All
time.
right. Number 10, my 10th favorite anime of all time, Cowboy Bebop.
Okay,
Yeah.
great show.
And that is, I think that's strictly because I haven't finished it yet.
yeah. I have I can tell you it's on my list.
Yeah.
It's higher than 10.
But it's so fucking cool.
It's a great show.
It's good. It yeah, I mean characters, story, setting, super cool. And I enjoy it, and I just need to keep watching it because I don't know why I stall.
Yeah, it's not that long.
It's really not compared to some of the other anime I've watched.
Yeah,
It's not at all.
Naruto, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I want to be a fucking space cowboy.
Don't we all? I want to be a space cowboy.
Yes.
All right, my number 10, Code Geass.
Okay. This is one that I've seen a lot around, but I've never watched it.
It's a great show. So good. For anybody who doesn't know. Time to give you a quick history lesson.
Okay.
So, England sucks. They took over the whole fucking world.
Oh, the British sun never sets in the British Empire.
So they are
So almost like
Britannia.
real life.
Britannia.
and they conquered Japan,
Awesome.
and Japan isn't even Japan anymore. It's just a number. I'm blanking on the number. It's been years since I've seen the show.
Number 67.
Nope, it's not that high. But I think it's like, I don't remember what it is. But the fact is, like, they're literally just referred to as like a number. They aren't even Japanese. And they're just
Okay.
trodden down and just like ruled by like this iron fist of an emperor. And one of his sons is a young man named Lelouch. Lelouch does not like his daddy. And he feels a kindred spirit to the Japanese people because he is half Japanese.
Oh, okay.
And by crazy series of events, he finds himself in possession of the Geass, a
What's the
magical
Geass?
power in his eye that
Of
allows
course it's a
him
fucking...
to make someone do whatever he tells them to do.
That sounds sexual.
It's not.
Oh,
But
what?
you went there. He can give each person one order that they have to obey.
Interesting.
And he uses this to start a goddamn revolution, basically.
Interesting.
Well, really to hijack a revolution.
Mhm.
But, you got everything you want in an anime in the show. You got, like, everybody playing freaking, like, mental chess with each other, trying to be one step ahead. You got really great characters. You got giant robot battles.
Okay. Do you have jiggles?
You do have jiggles. But really, it's one of those shows where you're never going to be correctly guessing where it goes next.
Interesting.
It is a fucking roller coaster ride of a TV show.
Okay.
And I love it a lot. And I can't wait for the movie that's finally going to be a sequel that follows up after the events of the first two seasons.
Oh.
Though really, actually, the movie is a sequel to movies that were made adapting the show because the movies that were adapting the seasons of the show changed things. And this new movie takes place in that because there's a major character who dies in the show, but I guess the writer really regretted killing them, so they didn't end up dying at that point in the movies.
Interesting.
And I support that decision 100%. That should
Okay.
never have happened.
Okay.
It was terrible. But yeah,
All right.
Code Geass. It's a great show.
Number 9.
Mhm.
Pour moi. Akame ga Kill.
Okay.
That was a great manga. We'll leave it there.
Agreed.
I did not finish the show, but I have gone through a lot of the manga.
I will say the manga is much better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a point in the anime where
Yeah.
they pivot from the manga.
Yeah.
And that I'm not a fan of the ending of the anime.
The ending of the anime is very
Yeah.
interesting.
They make choice.
Yeah.
They make choice.
Yeah, the way that show ended. Yeah.
It is not at all how the manga ends.
I don't disagree with it. I don't agree with it. I'm
It's
just
a
like,
bold choice.
that happened. Okay. Bold decision. Still pretty satisfying.
No, I enjoy the show quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's just, it sucks that there's like a version of the show with a much better ending that exists, and it's called the manga.
I was like, oh, is there?
It's called, it's just, it
The source
hurts.
material?
It hurts the show, in my opinion, because I watched the
Okay.
ending and I go like, there's a better ending of this that I've read.
Right. Okay.
But I still really enjoyed that anime.
Yeah, I really like, fight scenes and the characters. Everything really about that show.
And they're unafraid of killing their characters.
Oh, they are definitely
As you learn really in that
unafraid.
first episode. What a gut punch of a first
Ooh,
episode
I
to
love
a
that
show.
first episode.
It sets the tone real hard.
Yeah, and I like the tone. I like the fucking dismality. What the fuck? How did I describe that?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very dismal show.
Yeah, I like that, and I like how explicit it is. in its brutality.
Yes.
Oh,
I guess.
Yeah, not like
Yeah.
if that too, but
No, yeah, I just like how it's not afraid to do those things. And 'cause I'm not necessarily a fan of gory things for gore or like blood or that stuff, but I appreciate it when it's not shied away from.
Mhm.
And I mean, it definitely sets a tone.
It does indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't watch that first episode, or don't even watch the series if you're squeamish about
Oh,
That is-
yeah.
that is true.
blood.
I was not prepared when Chase made me watch that, but I was like, oh, now I know why he showed me this.
Mhm.
It's great. Yeah.
Although,
Yeah.
reading through a couple of the manga is better.
Okay.
That's normally true though.
Yeah. Yeah.
The books did it better.
Yep. Number 9. Burger King foot lettuce.
Burger King foot lettuce.
No, number 9, Anohana, the flower we saw that day.
No
That
clue.
sounds so sweet.
No clue.
This is my personal representation on my list of animes that made me cry like a little bitch.
Okay.
Hey, Chase, you should watch it.
I don't know. I can't think of an anime that made me cry like that.
Well, you don't watch the right anime. There are plenty.
Yeah.
But yeah, Anohana is the beautiful and touching story of a group of childhood friends, the Super Peacebusters, who had like a fort and they all hung out and they were all the bestest of buddies. And then one of them dies in a tragic accident and they all go their separate ways and they're all fucked up by this event. And it is incredibly tragic. And we pick up years later when one of them, who has now become like a reclusive shut-in, spending all his time like just playing games, not going to school.
Isn't neat.
Yes, he is. But he is visited by her ghost.
Oh.
And
Oh,
she's
it's a
like,
ghost.
yeah. And she's like, bro, what you doing? She's like, you got to get out there and live your life again. I want to bring all my friends together to fulfill my final wish. And he's
To
like,
summon the Dark Lord
and he's,
Cthulhu.
and he's like, okay, I'm losing my damn mind.
Yeah.
And not helping the fact that he's losing his damn, convincing that he's losing his damn mind. He's the only person who can see her.
Oh no.
And so begins a fucking beautiful and touching story that is just going to hit you right in the heart repeatedly.
Okay.
And some great twists and turns and really just an incredibly well-developed and written cast of characters.
Mm-hmm.
And damn it all, is it good? And damn it all if I didn't spend most of the last episode crying.
Good to know.
It's a great show, though. Anohana, the flower we saw. That day.
Anohana.
Anohana.
Anohana. Ohana means family, and family never gets left behind.
Or
Hana means flower.
forgotten.
Or forgotten? I don't know. I
All right,
forgot that part.
Seriously, that's okay.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought you were
really
doing-
forgot that?
Yeah, I had
oh.
no
Ohana.
recollection.
I thought you were
means
doing
family.
that as a joke.
No.
Family means no one gets left behind. Or
Or
forgotten.
That's
Or forgotten.
whatever. I like my version better without the forgotten part.
But whatever. Okay, moving on. What's your number 8, fucker?
Numero ocho.
ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Shingeki no Kyojin, Attack on Titan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was actually, I think this was, my first foray into anime. Like, I don't count Yu-Gi-Oh! Or I didn't really watch Pokemon. So,
sad person.
and this was in high school. I remember this show like being marketed to me somehow. And I was like, "Ooh, I'll watch it. Okay." Badass. It was just cool. It was just fucking, a badass story of fucking
This is a badass story of fucking.
of this dude killing titans. Well, actually, this dude getting his life ruined by titans and his
Yes.
family can rip apart, literally, and his kind of like revenge arc.
Yep.
And then, every season after that, I get more and more confused.
Yep.
I was like, what's happening?
Starts out real simple.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I think I was waiting for the 3rd season, and I just ended up getting the manga. I was like, okay, let's see where it goes from here. And I'm like, huh? I got confused, and they adapted it to the anime third season. I was like, okay, but I mean, it's still very interesting, and actually,
Still cracks your top 10.
yeah, and I think the third season, actually, the second season, I was like, meh on. Third season, once they start explaining more stuff, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I'm like, this is a direction I did not think this show would go, and I like it.
Cool. I only saw the first season.
Yeah. They branch out a lot in the third season. I think it's the third season, most recent.
Yeah, that's the third season.
Yeah, and it's definitely in a direction I didn't think it was going to go. I'm totally I'm totally all for it, and I kind of theorized about before, and I'm sure a lot of people did, but it's a really cool anime for a lot of the action scenes. Some of the relationships, like inter-character relationships, are pretty good. Others are just meh. But I still really enjoy it. And there are definitely shows that I enjoy more. But this is
Well,
was a
that's
good one.
how a top 10 list works.
Yes.
I feel like I just took a peek over at your list. I feel
Yeah.
like we can talk about this show now based on the timing. Death Note.
Hey,
My number
Death
8,
Note.
your number 7.
that is my number 7. That's literally the next one we got.
Let's talk about Death Note.
I still haven't finished it.
What the fuck?
No, okay, no, I got to that point where I think you said the next episodes after, I don't remember what episode I finished on. You're like, they don't really matter. Well, they do matter like for the actual ending, but it's like the ending could have been there and would have been fine.
Yes.
Which is where I left it.
So you
But-
watched that episode that kind of ends like the
Yes.
arc set up from the beginning,
Yeah,
and you didn't watch like the last 11 episodes.
yeah.
Okay.
I think it was. I don't even know if it was that many. I didn't.
I think
watch.
it's, if I recall correctly, it's 11.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, I got like relatively very close to the end.
Because I believe episode 25 is the one where that happens, and there's 36 episodes total.
I don't know.
So I guess then it would just be 10. Never mind. Or no, that would be, I don't know. Math is math. Yeah. Death Note. What a show.
Yeah, and I realized I like darker toned anime and darker toned things in general. I think, but
Yeah.
super interesting and intriguing. Yeah. What do you have to say about Death Note, Kyle?
Death Note is, I'd say, just one of those stories that is just so fascinating and interesting to follow.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, we have a villain protagonist,
Yeah.
which is always kind of fun in a fucked up sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you literally follow a dude who just turns himself into a serial killer and then really just mass murderer
Yeah.
who uses this power he's been given to basically just take over the world. And you follow him, and you also follow the team of detectives that are desperately trying to track him down and solve this case and figure out who he is.
Including his father.
Yeah, including his dad. And just the interplay and the mind games between Light and L is just some of the coolest shit.
It's really cool. It's really that mental chessboard.
Yeah, that is what the series is built on. Like, if it weren't for these two characters and this battle between them,
Two brilliant characters.
yes, they are both brilliant and they are just so fun to watch. If it weren't this battle between them, like, the show would be way less engaging.
Yeah.
But that's what the show is for most of it. Look, when L dies, the show gets so much worse. And his replacements suck. And the ending does not feel earned because of it.
Yeah.
And Chase never saw the real ending.
And I don't think I need to because I feel like it ended pretty well from where I was.
It just doesn't feel earned. Like, because, I mean, spoilers, I guess, for the show. Like, Light is eventually defeated and killed. But the fact that L wasn't the one who did it
Yeah.
it just makes me mad. It was like a fucking wacky chain of events that just like back him into a corner. And it pissed me off.
Yeah.
No lie. But But what's so fascinating about the show in so many ways, in addition to just this back and forth between the characters, because you have Light, who possesses the Death Note. He can write a name into it, and he can kill anyone as long as he writes their name and he can imagine their face. And the way that the show uses the rules about how the Death Note works,
Yeah.
and it always follows its rules.
Yeah.
The fucking brilliant ways that it comes up with how to use these in new and fascinating and interesting ways always keeps you on your toes. And then in addition, just having a normal ass, really smart dude just piecing this whole puzzle together without like the details of how it works necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes you feel smart watching a show about smart people.
It really does.
And it does a really good job of taking very high concept ideas and very complex situations and making them super easy to understand so that anybody can follow it. And it does have this fascinating thing where, like, as much as Light is a terrible person and deserves to be stopped, some part of you
True, yeah.
is just kind of like, but yeah, fuck, man, keep going.
Yeah.
It's just a really great show.
Yeah. He just descends into being more and more irredeemable.
So fast, though.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to make the world a better place. And by episode 5, he's like, I'm just going to kill innocent people. He was like, whoa, man. You pivoted hard.
Death Note changed you.
But it does have the world's most epic scene featuring a potato chip. I'll take this potato chip and eat it. Like the incredibly dramatic music. And you're just like, this does actually feel weirdly earned. So yeah, Death Note for potato chip lovers. You have anything you want to add about Death Note?
My number 7, Death Note. No, that's about it. Yeah, it's a great show. It's a lot of top number ones on top 10 lists.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a great anime to introduce people to anime because as weird as it is, and it does have its weirdness, it's also still a very grounded story in a lot of ways. Where I don't feel like it's so jarring that people who don't watch anime would be like, this is way too fucking weird.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you have a supernatural power that can kill people. Really, the weirdest thing is Ryuk. You just kind of got to get past the fact, like, yeah, he's an invisible death god who loves apples. Like, just, you got to deal with this. But, I mean, that's always a show that I recommend to people. If they're like, I don't know, what's good anime? I'm like, Death Note. Watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense it's popular.
Yes. You're number 6.
No, my number 7.
Oh, you're number 7, sorry.
My number 7, this is going to be a back-to-back for me of shows that maybe aren't of as high a quality, but defined my love of anime.
High School DxD.
No, I've literally never watched an episode of that. But really came to define my love of anime when I was younger. And so number 7 is Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
I used to watch that.
I loved this fucking show when I was a
never
kid.
watched Dragon Ball Z.
This show was nuts. I'd never seen anything like it. My little brain was just like, what the fuck is this? This is fucking awesome. These dudes, they fly through the air and they punch each other and they send like beams of magic and shit. And it's just like, well, they just blew up a planet. Holy shit. And I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Because I had no experience with anime prior
I
to
think
this.
that's a lot of people's experience.
Yes. I mean, Dragon Ball Z at its core is very simple and very dumb and really doesn't respect your time.
When I was a child, I hated that show so much.
A lot of yelling.
Yeah, I hated that because it came on before Sailor Moon, but I always finished my homework before Dragon Ball Z finished. So it's either I sit around and do nothing or watch Dragon Ball Z before Sailor Moon came on. And it upset me so much.
I mean, Dragon Ball Z is like the example of shonen battle manga.
Yeah.
Like, it defined what that is. It is just people who are strong and they punch other strong people really hard. And then when that doesn't work, they find new ways of punching them even harder with new forms and shit. And
it's
it just
over 9,000.
And it gets nuts and more nuts and even more nuts from there. And by the end, it's just so astronomically ridiculous.
And sometimes nothing happens in an episode.
If by sometimes you mean all the damn time.
Yeah,
There
except for
is-
like one random episode in like every 10 or
It's
so.
not that bad.
I feel like
But
it
like,
is.
okay, look, the primary example of the show not respecting your goddamn time at all is the Frieza saga. As revolutionary in many ways as that saga is, as important as it is in the hearts of many people, there is literally a moment where the show's like, there's 5 minutes before the planet explodes. You want to know how many episodes have in that 5
Yeah.
minutes?
Is that-
remember 3?
Yeah, how long does it take Goku to make the spirit bomb?
A while. That's 2 episodes of him charging the spirit bomb with Frieza somehow not noticing. And there are 3 episodes after the fucking planet's about to explode where they fight. 3 episodes, 5 minutes. It's an hour and a half of 5 minutes. It's nonsense.
5 minutes lasts an hour and a half.
Why would you say it was 5 minutes if you knew that you were making 3 episodes of this shit?
That's hilarious.
I was like, why show? And they learned and they got better a bit about it. Like the Cell Saga is pretty solid. It still takes its time, but like most of the fights in there are never like, I think literally when they start fighting Frieza, it's like 26 episodes until they win. And it's all that fight.
Oh my god. Oh
It's
my
like-
god.
That's like a year. That's like an extra long anime season.
Yeah.
It's like half a year of just one fight in a show. It's
Holy
fucking bonkers, man. It might be more. I haven't watched a show in a long time, but it made me love anime. And I was too dumb to realize that the show was wasting my damn time because it was so cool. And it was coming out 5 days a week. And so it's like, oh man, it's over. I'll watch more tomorrow.
It's so funny that you guys like, even just like within your culture of watching TV shows,
Uh-huh.
when they came
Yeah.
out, I think the only show that I really did that for, not even anime, just any show in general, was Wizards of Waverly Place.
What the fuck?
Wait, waiting every
Yeah,
week?
except for like Game
well,
of Thrones more
actually,
recently. But like I don't think I ever.
So the 2 shows Chase has waited for on a weekly basis: Wizards of Waverly Place and Game of Thrones.
And like Westworld HBO shows recently. But other than that, like Desperate Housewives, my mom.
My life has been built on waiting
I
weekly
know
for shows.
that like every Friday was like a big deal because I was
No,
like,
I
a new
never-
episode is coming out.
I never
or
watched like serial television like that.
I watched serial television all the time when I was younger, in particular.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
weird.
the anime though, because it was so cool. Because every day you'd go home after school and you're like,
Toonami's
"New
coming
episode."
on, and yeah.
Toonami would
Yeah.
come on, and I'm like, I have to sit through Dragon Ball, and my cousins yelling at each other and reenacting this crap. But like, I don't give a crap. It's fine. Sailor Moon is coming.
And you got like Yu Yu Hakusho, and you got like freaking Ronin Warriors, and like all these random ass anime. And it's like, oh man, this was my childhood in so many ways. Literally, it would be like kind of like Cheyenne mentioned. It was just, I would do my best to do my homework
Oh my
before this,
That's
so I could
hilarious.
watch like 2
Yeah.
hours of anime.
That was like a whole culture.
That was
I
know,
like,
think
that's-
you missed out because you're
you're
younger.
just too
What?
young.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
No, because
I remember doing this early 2000s though.
Well, I remember this happening with people around me, and
Oh, really?
and Toonami being like the same thing. I
missed
just
out.
wasn't the one that was watching it.
You missed out.
Yeah, you fucked up. You fucked up bad.
That was
I think
cool.
I was playing more video games that time.
It was like a
I
whole
wasn't
thing.
really into TV shows.
My cousins would come over too.
No, like Toonami was
Like,
a thing.
Yeah, Toonami was a thing. But then I got older and they were like, "Oh, you're an Asian who watches anime?" Oh. And I was like, "Oh no, I don't watch
I remember
anime,
Bleach
guys.
coming
Nope,
on
nope."
Toonami and changing it.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow, okay.
I was very much part of the original generation of Toonami anime
Uh-huh.
shows, and I kind of faded out when they started, like with like the Naruto's and the Bleaches and all that. Like I watched those shows, but I watched those shows in Japanese well before they were coming out on Toonami.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And so, like, my anime that I would watch on Cartoon Network at that point was like entirely the Adult Swim shows.
Yep.
Like I had some crazy good memories of some Adult Swim shows that I would like watch, like freaking Mobile Suit Gundam.
Oh, yeah.
Like the 8th
Oh.
MS team in particular. I remember when that was going on.
The Gundam one, like randomly, would sometimes play in the mornings.
Gundam
like,
Wing was
super early in the
Gundam
mornings.
Wing was such a big part of Toonami during an early part. I remember like that show was like, whoa. Didn't they also play Evangelion on Toonami? That feels dark, but I feel like that's
don't-
true.
I didn't watch that one, so I can't say. There was one I think called Voltron.
Did they? They didn't play Voltron on Toonami.
Yeah, they did.
I
It was one of the
remember-
original
Did
lineup.
I remember.
Oh my God.
The original
Voltron.
lineup was Beast Wars, Transformers,
Yes, I remember
yeah.
Beast
Cartoon
Wars.
Roulette, Dragon Ball Z, Johnny Quest,
I remember
Oh my
Johnny-
gosh, Johnny Quest.
Reboot, Robotech, Sailor Moon, Super
Yeah, but
Friends.
okay, now more
Thundercats,
important,
Voltron.
here, not Johnny Quest, the real adventures
real
of Johnny
Adventures of
Quest. Very important distinction. That was the one that took place in cyberspace. I remember these shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Tom's Blocks is what I'm more thinking of here.
Batman
Specifically,
animated series, Gundam Wing.
yeah. Yeah, we're talking that shit.
Batman
Ronin
oh, yeah.
Warriors.
Okay, so I used to watch Batman Beyond on Toonami.
Yeah, the Tenchi, like the Tenchi series, like Tenchi Muyo and stuff like that. And then like Big O. Yeah, I basically stopped watching when they started like airing like GT and like Justice League during Toonami. Even though I watched the Justice League show, like I wasn't
I didn't
watching it
watch that.
nonstop. But yeah, then they had like Midnight Run with like
Samurai
Outlaw
Jack.
Star and like these are a lot of the shows that defined what I would watch. But yeah, like Big O, Dragon Ball Z, Gundam 0080, like Gundam the 8th MS team, Outlaw Star, Tenchi Muyo. Like these were the shows I watched when I was a kid. And Dragon Ball Z is kind of like the representative of that era because that was the
Right.
biggest one. Like that blew up. And Dragon Ball Z can almost be looked at as directly responsible for how big anime is in the West.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't think you can understate that. And I do have fond memories of that show even to this day. So that's my number 7. It
Yeah.
got off on a weird tangent, but that's how it goes. What's your number 6, Chase?
So my number 6, I forget. I clicked away. Oh yeah, ReZero.
ReZero. That
That's-
didn't quite make my list.
Yeah, ReZero. What's the full title? Like Life in ReZero.
Starting over
Oh,
with life in another world or something like that.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's on your list, and you don't remember the full title.
Well, I don't remember a lot of full titles of anything.
I knew what the show
Tisk,
was.
tisk.
Yeah.
Great show.
Great show.
Yeah, we've talked about it. We don't need this.
Cheyenne didn't like it.
Yeah,
No.
nope, she didn't like it at all.
She didn't even watch the show. She just read the manga.
Hey, I watched 2 episodes of the show.
Did you?
I did. Thank you very much.
You sure?
You were there.
Are you sure?
Watched it at your house.
I trust her memory more
Okay.
than yours.
And then I was like, I don't like this that much. Let's see if the manga's okay.
Oh, maybe.
I read like 5 of the manga. I was like, I'm done.
You really didn't give this much of a shot. That's fine.
Yeah, she really got like to the between those 2 episodes. But yeah, this show was it one of the first isekai that I saw?
It was one of the. I think the show was really coming in right as Isekai was starting to just consume
Yeah.
all anime
And it
culture.
was literally titled "Life in Another World." Like
Yep.
that's literally the definition of isekai.
I mean, it is an Isekai.
Yeah, and I really liked that aspect of it because I think this was after I watched Sword Art Online, and I think my first 2 anime that I really got me into anime recently. Like, if I had seen anything in the past, I might have watched, but I wasn't really interested in anime for being anime.
Mhm.
Was like I said, Attack on Titan, and then I watched Sword Art Online, and then like after that, I was like, oh, this interests me of like, or at least the Sword Art Online aspect of like being in another world, being in the game. I was like, what other things like this? That's what like really branched me into isekai.
That's what branched everyone
Yeah.
into Isekai.
Yeah, and
That's what did this, man.
yeah.
Sword Art Online. Not only does it piss me off a little bit, even though like it has its merits,
Yeah.
I blame it for what happened to
Yeah.
anime.
Yeah, and so then I stumbled upon ReZero, and I was like, I like this, and just the aspect of the time loop,
Oh yeah, no, it's
which
great.
is really great, and the way they do it is really great. And I think that's why Cheyenne didn't like it, because in the beginning it's really overplayed in like the first 2 episodes, because that's when he's first figuring it out, right?
It takes him way too long to figure out what's going on to him.
Yeah, And
That drove me crazy.
Exactly. It drove Cheyenne out of the fucking story. And once it like settles down and then you start to get more of like the overarching story and like what's happening in this world, it's really interesting. Yeah, it's super interesting. And just I think something I like about all these anime that that I enjoy is just the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the set of characters that it has. And then towards the latter half of that anime, it gets fucking weird. Like, just crazy. And I'm like, what the hell is happening in these loops? Like, what is going on? But I'm 100% for it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I really recommend this anime as something to, like, I don't know. I feel like it's enjoyable for most people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not Cheyenne.
Just not Cheyenne.
Your problem is you showed me that after making me watch Akame ga Kill.
You think you would have liked it if you saw it before?
Maybe. I might have tolerated it more. And then, because you turned off Akame ga Kill, we went to ReZero. And I was like, wait, what is this? And then I think just because of that turn of events, I've just always had a bad image of the show, and it's just stuck with me.
Okay. I will touch on the fact that I watched this show week to week with one of my besties buddies, my friend Matt, and like I did many anime during a period of time in my life.
I don't think I've ever watched a show with anyone else.
I love watching anime with friends. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Besides like Game of Thrones, which is more of a cultural thing now.
Yes.
That's so sad.
I mean, that's just what people did with Game of Thrones. Is they gathered together and
exactly.
watched that show.
Yeah, like watch
Wait, that's a lie. We watched Stranger Things together.
That's different. Like, I mean, yeah, with
like
my
a week to week sort of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, and like with a friend that I'm probably not going to spend the rest of my life with. Sort of thing. You know what I mean?
With no romantic intentions.
Yeah.
Are you saying we're not friends?
No, it's not.
Yeah, you fucked up
I'm
there.
digging myself
You
a hole.
should continue,
Continue,
Kyle.
One thing I think the show did that was very bold is there's about a 7-episode period of time in the middle of that show where it wants you to hate your main character.
Oh yeah.
I did that in the first episode.
You have no idea. It pissed me off, but it served a really strong purpose in the narrative. And once he got past that hump, once you have that rooftop scene,
Yeah.
like that was the turning point when the anime went from just like, okay, we are in. And just like that whole arc too, in particular, like he's being such a fucking asshole. I loved when they dropped his save point right after it was too late.
Ooh.
Because like that's the thing.
Yeah.
You feel like so many times like, oh well, yeah, he fucks up, but he can always just loop back. But like he had made all of his mistakes, and then he dies and he finds out that it's you're popping back after you already fucked up. And just as he just loses his damn mind, goes in this downward spiral of failure and stuff until he just bursts out the other end. It's a powerful moment, and it is the turning point in his character where he went from I think a pretty enjoyable character to just a total douchebag to just being awesome because he embraced what is special about him and what he can bring to the table in a show full of honestly like awesome badass characters and kick a lot of ass. That's on him.
Yeah, nope.
But they make him always feel important in the story and always central to it, not just because he's the main character, but because of how and his unique ways of being able to contribute to helping save the day. It was just fun.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a good show.
Yeah. What's your number 6?
My number 6 is another throwback. Digimon.
Digital monsters. I forgot I watched that show.
Champions.
I forgot about
What did you think that word is?
I said I forgot that I watched that show there.
Nope. We were singing the lyrics.
I know. I stopped singing the lyrics.
No, he did say that. he dropped out of the lyrics and then
Immediately.
said,
Okay.
I forgot I
Never
watched
mind.
that show.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Digimon. It was like Pokemon,
But digital.
but good.
Screw you.
The Pokemon anime is not good.
Yeah,
Still
Digimon was
prefer
actually pretty good.
Pokemon.
And actually, yeah, I watched that pretty early on.
No, I really enjoyed Digimon because I just remember I remember watching that on the Saturday morning when it dropped, and I'm like, what is this? Is this like a fucking Pokemon ripoff?
Yeah.
I remember I was
Low key.
That's what I thought.
That's what everyone thought.
Yeah.
Even though honestly Digimon came first, but it did.
Oh, did
Not
it?
the anime, but
Ah.
the concept behind them.
Ah.
Oh.
Digimon is like 2 years older than Pokemon.
Digital
Oh.
monsters versus pocket monsters.
Exactly.
Oh.
But the anime dropped like a year after Pokemon because they're like, hey, people love Pokemon. We could probably get this Digimon shit working too.
Ooh, jokes on them.
But
In the West, anyway.
if I recall, it was on Fox Kids Saturday mornings.
Oh
I remember I watched the
God.
first episode in a hotel room in Vegas.
The fuck?
My dad would go to Vegas all the time, and so
That's right.
yeah, we would like journey out there and stuff.
Yeah, my first time in Vegas was when I was 21.
Yeah, my first time in Vegas was I think when I was 6. I spent a lot of time in Vegas as a kid. I've spent more time in Vegas when I was under the age of 21 than I have over the age of 21.
That's hilarious.
Sad.
But I think I've only been to Vegas twice since I turned 21.
That's hilarious.
It's been 7 years.
I've been to Vegas twice since I've been 21. It's been less than a year.
Yep. Child. But I was immediately enamored by its story and its characters. And I'm not saying that it's amazing storytelling or characters, but for like young me, it is. I mean, it's an isekai.
Yeah.
I mean, god damn it, it is. You got a bunch of kids that are all sucked into another world, and they get their little monster friends, and they gotta save it. And it's a very straightforward story in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it's a very character based story, which I've always leaned to. It even right from the word go, like the relationships between the characters and their monsters were the key to the monsters getting stronger and evolving.
Yeah. You just beat the Digimon. And
Well, that kind of was an arc in a little bit in that first season.
I don't remember.
So, but I mean, you have the relationship between these characters and the characters overcoming their own personal like fears and weaknesses and stuff, and that allowed their monsters to become stronger and fight. And that whole arc in the beginning, where like one by one, like another character gets their Digimon to evolve and blah blah blah. It feels like it's oh my god. I just ripped my pants. But
Sitting down.
and not where you expect.
Not
These
at
pants are old and they're very threadbare. It's not a shock. But
all. What were you saying?
But like even in that first arc when they're on like File Island, I still remember this shit.
What the fuck?
I
have
know.
No clue.
Again, my memory is not your memory.
No,
It's
it
much
is
better. Where they're all separated and they're forced into like various teams and groups and stuff. And it focused on all of these characters and developed all of them and put them all in unique situations that forced them to like grow. It was just a really interesting story. And like, you had like Dragon Ball Z was like my other real touchstone anime as a kid. It was all just about people screaming and fighting and punching and getting stronger by just like screaming at the heavens and getting lucky because, you're a Saiyan and now you're a Super Saiyan and now you're Super Saiyan 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck shit. And now your hair's super long and you have no eyebrows. And
You're a monkey.
now you're just a fucking monkey. But like this was like it really went into the psychology of the characters, and then like just when you thought the show was like stretching out what it could do, then all of a sudden it flips the script and now they're in the real world and having to hide their Digimon from their families and stuff as the Digimon are invading into the real world.
Yeah, I remember that.
Dude, like it was a crazy cool story, and they kept coming up with like cool new evolutions and stuff, and then they fucking I don't know, man. There's something special in particular about that first season of Digimon.
You said this was on Fox Kids?
If I recall correctly, yes, it was.
For some reason, thinking of Digimon brings back Code Lyoko.
That was not at the same channel at all.
Okay, then never mind.
Code Lyoko was Cartoon Network.
Was it?
I'm almost positive.
No fucking way.
I'm almost positive.
Code Lyoko. Cartoon Network.
Told you.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't remember that being on Cartoon Network at all.
it was.
That's weird.
I'm telling you, man, in a memory off, I'm going to win.
Was it same time?
It was definitely later. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure like the later seasons of Digimon were probably airing around Code Lyoko, but Digimon was elementary school for me.
Oh,
And Code Lyoko was very much like middle school.
maybe just reruns.
Yeah, I mean, Code Lyoko is very much middle school
Okay.
and like high school, even maybe a little bit. I think more just middle school though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So they were not concurrent at all.
Well, 2000. Okay, Code Lyoko was 2003 to 2007.
Was it?
Yeah. Digimon Adventure was 1999 and 2000. The only comparable would be the 5th season of Digimon, Digimon Data Squad.
That didn't air in the West.
Oh, then I don't fucking know.
Yeah, Digimon Frontier, the 4th season, was the last one that aired regularly in the West.
So I guess it was just like it was running again.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Obviously
there's a
not
lot
original.
of like sets of reruns and
Yeah.
re-releases.
I
on
remember
different
watching them
channels.
like concurrently, and that was
Interesting.
like a period of my life.
Okay, but yeah, Digimon. I liked it. It was cool. I still like Digimon.
They're okay.
Yeah, we know.
I know you know.
He
There are
knows we
games.
know we know. He knows
You know?
we know he
Okay,
knows.
okay, Chase. Next one.
Your number 5.
Number 5, Log Horizon.
We've talked about this.
We have.
You have.
And we'll go back to it. So, Log Horizon, for those who don't know, it's another MMORPG game or anime along the lines of Sword Art Online.
So you know how Sword Art Online, a bunch of people got trapped in a game and they had to get their way out? Log Horizon is a show about a bunch of people who get trapped in the game. They're like, well, let's just make the best of it.
Yeah, but they take 2 different approaches.
Oh, hell yeah,
Two
they
totally different approaches that, I mean, I like both of them a lot.
do. Mhm.
But what I liked so much about Log Horizon is that real like grittiness of the day to day
Yeah.
and like living, rebuilding, like building an economy and like relationships between like companies type thing
Companies and countries.
and countries, and just like all that depth to the show that I really would have liked in Sword Art Online.
But yeah, they just like
But they
hand
went
wave
a
that
different-
and they just
yeah.
don't. That's not the direction they're going for at all.
Yeah,
Sword Art Online is like an action fighty anime
yeah,
with like harems and shit. And Log Horizon's a show that's like, so what would happen if we all got trapped in a video game? Like for realsies, guys.
exactly. And it has a good main character that relies on other people because he's super squishy alone.
Yep.
And therefore it plays up on the cast of the other characters.
Yes, it does, and it's a very large cast.
Yeah, and it's super interesting in the way that they deal with living in this world, which is something like when watching it, I'm like, how would that happen? And then they address it, and I'm like, oh,
Yep.
that's super interesting and super cool, and it makes me want to live in a virtual world.
Right?
Yeah, more so than SAO because of reasons.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
You can actually respawn in Log Horizon.
yeah. And just like making a guild with your friends and like having a building and like having
It's
this
like-
whole like set.
It's like all the fun of an MMO, except
Yeah.
you're really doing it.
Exactly, and that's like what I would like is just like to live like that, right? Like have
Mhm.
these friends that you're like living with or like just like seeing every day and like basically living with, working together towards a common goal, and that be your life, as opposed to like that's kind of what we like do in MMOs for entertainment
Yeah.
because that's what we seek, like that's what we want, and we get to like, and at some point there's that immersion that you have with certain games that allow you to do things like that, and then you like can build meaningful relationships with people online through that kind of activity. But something about like actually living that is appealing, right? Being outside of your day-to-day life, outside of like your worries of work and all that stuff, which I mean you do work in the game, but it's like so like I think it's a grass is greener type of situation.
I'd say so.
Yeah, because there
You're like,
definitely would be
"God,
downsides.
My life is so frustrating and annoying. I have to like go to a place and just like do a monotonous job for a while. It's like, yeah, well, my life, I have to fight to the death on a daily basis
Yeah.
to make sure. And
Exactly.
yeah, I might die and just wake back up again.
Yeah.
But do you know the stress that I'm under?
Exactly. I think it's just what appealed to me about this is that camaraderie and that friend that like the group of friends whether or not you're there, like you make those friends or you've had those friends or whatever, and then living in a certain way that I wish life was more like, you know.
Mm-hmm. It can be if you make it, Chase.
I'm just gonna like live in a commune with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have fun.
You just have to do what this one person I know did, where she made a whole
Join a
bunch.
cult? Oh.
She made a whole bunch of money with the thing, and so she bought 8 houses on a cul-de-sac, and all of her friends live there.
That sounds super dope. Like, not gonna lie, that
I
sounds
know.
amazing.
Right?
I would love that. To like, I remember, or whenever, like, when we went to we went on a trip to Vegas, one of our trips to Vegas with a bunch of friends. It was like 8 people, and we were in this one house. And I mean, like, there were aspects of it that was just like,
Yeah.
there were positives and negatives, but the positive about it was just like being around your friends for days in a row, and like being able to do fun stuff with your friends. And that's kind of like what I get from this anime.
And there we go.
And there we go.
So yeah, that's your number 5, Log
Yeah.
Horizon.
Yeah.
My number 5, Baccano.
Okay.
So Chase's number 5 is all about like, hey, you know what would be awesome? Escapism and hanging out with
Yeah.
your friends. My number 5 is like, hey, you know what would be awesome? Prohibition era America, except you're an immortal. So Baccano is an anime set
Yep.
in America during Prohibition.
Interesting time period.
It's a fascinating time period, especially when you combine it with alchemy.
Very interesting.
So essentially, the show has a huge supporting cast, and the show technically adapts, like the bulk of the show is adapting 3 different arcs from the source material, which is a bunch of light novels. So basically, it takes place over like 3. It jumps back and forth between these 3 different stories, starring these 3 different casts of characters that do have like threads that tie them together, and certain
Right.
characters that pop up in like all of the storylines in different ways.
Mhm.
But at the core of it is all about these people who are thrust into like over the top and ridiculous situations. And also there are alchemists who are like working on like creating immortality
Right.
and pursuing their
As they
ability
do.
to live forever. Yeah.
Right.
As alchemists do.
Yeah.
And it's hard to describe this show in a way that makes it like that really draws you in as much as the show itself does. It has so much fucking style,
Mhm.
and it is confident as shit in what it's trying to do. And it has phenomenally iconic characters. Like, you will never forget so many of these characters after watching the show, even with their ridiculous names, as you brought up, with like anime having characters with just the worst names on earth.
Yeah.
Jacuzzi Splot.
Jacuzzi Splot. Jacuzzi Splot. That's the fucking middle finger to to naming characters.
But like, so many of these characters are like gangsters.
Who the fuck approved Jacuzzi Splot? I'm sorry. Like, what? Who thought it was a good idea and then approved that? Okay, go ahead.
There's a dude named Claire.
Oh, wait, that's less.
I know. Just, thought I'd bring it up. But yeah, Jacuzzi Splot is quite the name.
Oh my god.
But really, it just, these characters are really lovable. The stories are insane. The action is fantastic. And it is brutal as shit.
Awesome.
Because so many of its characters can just regrow their limbs and shit.
Oh, right.
But not all of them can. You have like psychopathic characters like Lad Russo, who just like hijacks a train. Like, one of the story arcs takes place on a train, the Flying Pussyfoot.
Oh my god.
And there's like a 3-way battle between 3 different parties of people who are all trying to take control of this train for various reasons. And it's in my opinion my favorite of the 3 arcs that are adapted, just because it has some of the coolest fucking characters. But dude, the amount of insanity that takes place in this thing, and these characters, and the shit that they can do, I don't want to spoil it because it's nuts. But like, you see a dude just like have his entire arm just destroyed to the bone
Ew.
from an impact.
Ew.
You have characters just gunning people down with machine guns, shooting children in the head. Like, don't worry, he's immortal. He didn't know that when he shot him, though. But just everything about this story, it's like, it wants you to be like, look, we're going to go nuts here, and you're just going to have to come along with the ride. And you will. You see a character just get his head shoved down onto the train tracks as the train is moving and just like fucking vaporized by the... Yeah, it's pretty brutal. You have to have a strong stomach for this. But just... It's just a great show.
Okay.
You should watch it.
I agree.
I don't know where, though. God, it's not on any streaming services.
God damn it.
At least I don't think it is. I do have completely 100% legal versions of all the episodes, though.
Okay.
I believe you.
You should. All right, Chase. What's your number 4?
Number 4. Boku no Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia.
Yes.
Great show. Not on my list.
Great show. I'm surprised it's on my list.
Okay.
Granted, the way that it started, or that I started with it. So, I heard about My Hero Academia. I was put onto it by a friend, I believe, if I remember correctly. And, or actually, maybe I saw it, and I heard that it was popular. So I was like, okay, there must be a reason. So I started watching it. Hated the first episode. Like, I hated the animation style. I couldn't get past it, which normally that's something that's not a big deal for me. But
I feel like we have talked about this.
Yeah,
on the
but for some reason, the main, like, Izuku, Midoriya, the main character, the way that he was animated in the first episode specifically, I was like, if this is what it's going to be like, and this is the main character, I don't want to watch this shit. It's just like, I couldn't get past it. I don't know why. And I mean, the story of the first episode was to me.
It's just setting the stage.
Yeah, it was what it was. It was setting the stage, and I wasn't really having it. So I stopped watching it after the first episode.
This is why I have my 3-episode rule.
Yeah, I might have watched 2. Because I usually will give it 2. But I just dropped it for months, I think. And then a friend asked me if, like, we were exchanging anime that we were watching, and she asked me, have you watched My Hero Academia? And I was like, oh, I watched an episode of it, but I really didn't like it. She's like, watch it again, but like get through the 3rd episode. And so I gave it a chance because she was like raving about it. And so I go back and I watch like through, and I'm like, okay, I can see it. And I keep watching. I'm like, okay, I really like this now. And I really like that show. It's super interesting, and I don't know of any other show that's done this. There might be, in terms of what it's actually about, like superheroes and superhero training in an anime specifically. Because I mean, you can look at like Young Justice or things like superheroes in the West that are like for like teenagers or children. But this was just like there's something about it that's just so interesting and intriguing, especially about like the main character's like growth and development.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, literally.
I know.
But
it's about an academy of superheroes.
Yeah,
it's sky high.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait a second.
It is sky high.
Yeah. And
people make that joke all the time. It's not an original joke.
Oh, I've actually never heard that before. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, it's just Sky High, the anime.
Yeah. But again, the characters and the story of it and some of the revelations and things that happen are like very interesting, and the setting itself is super unique, I feel. And I think that's why I'm so interested in it. It's just the uniqueness of it, and that I haven't necessarily seen anything exactly like it before. So it intrigues me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
4th favorite anime of all time.
Well, like I told you, first 8 might be in different orders if I really called it, but
yep,
it's up there.
My number 4, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works.
Okay.
Specifically, the anime itself, not the movie. The movie is not good. what a show. This is, I think, and for what it tries to do, and I'd say this and Fate Zero are kind of interchangeable in this spot based on your preferences. But for those who don't know, like the overall idea of the Fate series is that you have a bunch of basically wizards who all participate in a thing called the Holy Grail War, where they basically fight each other to the death to try and possess the Holy Grail, which will grant them a wish. The way that they do this is they summon a heroic spirit from the past.
Yeah.
Or the future in some cases. But like,
interesting.
basically the fact is they make a contract with a hero from another time. And these heroes are essentially put into one of like 7 different essential classes. And from there, they like these 7 teams all fight each other to be the last one standing. And it is super fucking cool.
Okay.
Fate Zero, as you would guess by the title, is like a prequel to Fate Stay Night. Fate Stay Night is the main core actual like base entry of the series. Unlimited Blade Works, because this is where it gets slightly complicated, but basically Fate Stay Night was a visual novel. So a video game where you just make choices. But that game features 3 different arcs to it. All based on basically like they all pivot based on like the result of like one fight. But in that game, the first time you play, you get, I can't even remember what the base arc is called. It might just be Fate Stay Night. But you get like one arc. Once you beat that arc, you can go back and basically play the second, and then you play the third. The second arc is Unlimited Blade Works, and it is the best arc of the game.
Okay.
And it is it's the source material for this specific adaptation of the show, because there was originally a Fate Stay Night that adapts the original anime arc. I mean, like the original arc of the game. And so originally then they made a movie adapting this arc, and then they're like, nah, let's take another crack at this, make a full fucking anime out of it. 26 episodes of fucking badassness. But you follow a guy who basically gets dragged into this war having no idea what's going on, and is just thrust into it when he essentially, by luck in a lot of ways, summons Saber, a incredibly powerful swordsman from the past, who you find out is actually King Arthur. Who was actually secretly a woman. You find out a lot of famous historical figures were secretly women throughout the course of the show. But and you just, it has a fantastic cast of characters. Some of which, it's a lot of uh-huhs coming in here.
Yeah, well, I have no input.
I know. But the animation style of the show is phenomenal, and the action is constantly breathtaking. It is some of my favorite action in any anime ever. And that is saying something. I've watched a lot of great action in anime.
Yes.
But watching a Fate fight is truly something else. It feels like it's a whole different level. And all of the different characters with all of their abilities and how they are used against one another is just so fucking cool. And the difference between like Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works is you very much have your heroes in Unlimited Blade Works. Fate Zero, it's much more of like a thing where you focus on like all of the characters in different degrees, some of which are more likable than others, but it very much feels like more of a ensemble. Whereas Fate Stay Night very much has its like core cast of heroes.
Okay, yeah.
That you follow, and like, these are the people who you're definitely rooting for, and these are the ones you are not. So it really just kind of comes down to like a preference in storytelling, but I recommend watching both. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works was made right after Fate Zero, so they very much kind of like tied directly together in a lot of ways, and they were made by the same team, all that sort of stuff. And so there's a lot of connective tissue between the two shows tying them together. I truly cannot recommend these shows higher. They are so much fun, but they are also really dark and thought-provoking in a lot of ways, in a lot of fundamental ways.
Interesting. I would not expect that.
I know you wouldn't. That's part of what makes them so great. Because they are like all flash, except there's actually also a lot of substance. They're just phenomenal shows. And then the last episode of Unlimited Blade Works feels like a freaking pilot for a sequel series that is probably never getting made. Those fucks. Because you love these characters. You want to see more of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made 2 movies adapting the third arc, and I still haven't seen those yet, but I got to. But yeah, Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Uh-huh.
What's your number 3?
Number 3, Sword Art Online.
Mm-hmm. We had a whole
Bleh.
episode about this not too long ago.
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago. Don't blame me. Blah, 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 blah.
I disagree, but I get it.
So, Sword Art Online. Spoiler alert. All of the seasons do not take place in Sword Art Online, the opening game that they get trapped in or will die for. Or
Not even the whole first season does.
not even the whole first season, yeah.
What a relic title.
And yeah, so this anime was really like after Attack on Titan. I think I was watching them concurrently. What sank my teeth into anime and pulled me in, much like you get sucked into the game.
Wow. What a clever connective tissue.
And it was because of the nature of the VR MMORPG.
Which one day we'll get something like that.
Yes, and that was because that was something I was very interested in exploring being in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
And the virtual reality nature of like the technology at the time and all this stuff that would enable such a feat. And being trapped in a video game where if you die in the game, you die in real life. Well, I mean, stakes are high until they're not. And it's like, it's nerve-wracking, and it allows a lot of things narratively to happen to the main character, which, I mean, they may or may not do a good job at like maintaining or like using that to develop the character. I mean, it does, but then I can understand where how Kyle has said in the past that main character Kirito is really not, it doesn't have much substance to him.
I don't think so, no.
I mean,
He's just cool looking McBadass guy.
yeah.
And he's real strong.
But in this show, like what connected me to it is just like placing myself in that situation. What if this were to happen? If this situation were to happen, how would I react? Not necessarily how the main character reacts and what we're seeing him react and how he's acting, but kind of just the situation is what interests me, and it interested me. And I will say the second half of the first season does not do the first half's justice. It definitely goes downhill in a few ways. And then the second season is the second season. It's not bad, but it's different. And like I said the other week when I was talking about this, Alicization, which is the third and fourth season, it kind of returns to that root of more of that fantasy setting and having like certain style and feel that is more welcomed, I feel.
I meant to ask this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is there a character named Alice in Alicization?
Yes.
Of course there is.
Yeah. There is. And yeah, it's something about like just like Log Horizon of being in the game and living your life. In the case of the first half of the first season of SAO is 2 years being in this game and having to figure out like how to live, what connections to make with people, what people not to trust, and all this stuff. Or you can actually die, and it's really more dangerous than living in the real world because you're facing that every day. And the direction they take it is more so. Well, I wouldn't say more so, just in a different direction of like intercharacter relationships, which I also enjoy to a certain degree. Some of it's like not really meaningful, but a lot of it is. And something about the story is just like really entertaining to me. And I think the character, even like if the main character isn't really that developed, it's like the characters around him that develop him more, or like kind of like pick up the slack, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. So number 3.
I feel bad because I feel like you have to like taper your own appreciation of the show because I'm sitting next to you. You're like, I don't want him to judge me too hard because that's your 3rd favorite anime of all time, and you just sound like you're just making excuses for it the whole time. And I feel like that's my fault.
I really enjoy Sword Art Online.
SAO was a fun show. I just feel like, 1, it's a little over beloved, and 2, it never reaches the highs of its first half of its first season ever again, in my opinion. So I was just like, that's why I gave up on it.
Fair enough.
But you love your stuff you love, man. It's okay that you think Twilight Princess is the best Zelda game or something.
Ooh, that again.
I haven't forgotten. Number 3, Steins Gate.
Right.
Fucking love this show.
Yeah. I can see some appeal. I just don't think I don't know if I got far enough, but I mean, I got a few episodes in, and it was interesting and intriguing.
So Steins Gate is a slow burn of a show.
Mm.
It's just the story. What if the worst equipped person to get a time machine ends up with one? Essentially, you follow a guy who plays up being like a mad scientist, and he and his friends run like this future laboratory where they come up with like these gadgets that'll like revolutionize the world. And they essentially accidentally develop a way of sending text messages back in time.
Yeah.
And obviously these text messages completely fucking alter the future based on what's sent. And the show is a slow burn. Especially I'd say the first 7 episodes are very much built around you getting to know all the facets of the central players in its story. To possibly a degree that isn't wise.
Right.
Because the stakes are extremely low in the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of people fucking around with a time machine, essentially. And you just get to know all these different people that are involved in their lives. And yeah, and it's just chill. Not too far after when Chase gave up on the show, something happens. And like all great time travel shows, the show becomes 100% about dealing with the consequences of decisions you have made and things you can't take back.
Oh.
And then the show becomes an examination of accepting the things you can't undo. And how difficult that would be if in the palm of your hand you should have the capability to fix all of your mistakes. And how that can consume a person. And this show, as goofy as it seems and as chill as it seems in the beginning, is an examination of many ways of despair and of hopelessness and of tragedy. And at the same time, it's also fucking hilarious. But much of the goofy lightheartedness of the show is lost in the second half of the show in a way that feels earned because the stakes are unbelievably high for all the characters involved. people's lives are constantly on the line. And you watch as our hero just fails to protect the people he cares most about. And the sacrifices he has to make and like the decisions he has to make when he has everyone's lives in his hands. And it becomes remarkably powerful.
Interesting.
It is a fucking ride of a show.
It's not what I would have gotten from the first few
Nope.
episodes.
It is deceptive. And also, I would say there is a, similar to Fate Stay Night, there is a Steins Gate Zero.
Right.
Do not watch that show before watching the original. Because it will spoil shit like no one's business. Because it is not a prequel. It is a kind of interquel sequel thing. Basically, there is a terrible timeline that the characters get stranded in for a bit, and is integral to the plot of the story, but is not what we follow. Steins Gate Zero follows that plot line all the way to its natural conclusion.
Oh, interesting.
And it is tragic and super depressing and sad, but also really beautiful. But no, the original Steins Gate is a fantastic show, and it has stuck with me for years.
Right.
To the point to where I watched the anime first, then I played the visual novel, then I played the visual novel for Zero, then I watched Zero, and then they basically remade the visual novel, tying in, using the anime in all of its scenes and building new animation scenes to build a visual novel that is also an anime that you watch as you're playing it and making choices. Yes, it's very interesting.
Interesting.
That's Steins Gate Elite. It's great.
Interesting.
So I've essentially watched and played this story a shitload of times.
Yeah.
And I do not get bored of it at all. It is so good. Oh my God.
Okay. Interesting.
Steins Gate. Third favorite anime of all time. What's your number 2, Chase?
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Whoa! Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yes.
I will hesitate to say much right now because I will be talking about that later.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is very great. Actually, yeah. Oh wait, we'll keep going. We'll
just talk about it in my
talk
spot.
about it here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So number 2 for Chase, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yes.
Number 2 for me, Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, dang. That's a very big difference.
I know.
Number
That's
10.
what I was saying. His number 10 is my number 2. Look, Dragon Ball Z is the show that made me go like, wow, anime is crazy fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop's the anime that made me go, oh shit, anime can be actually something really good. Like Chase mentioned, Cowboy Bebop is so fucking cool.
It's cool.
And like every facet of that show is cool. Like that is like built into the DNA. I feel like when they made this show, the first question they asked every time they made a decision is like, but is it cool? And if the answer was no, they didn't do it. Is this character cool? Yeah, he's in. Is this plotline cool? No, fuck it. We're not doing it. It is in so many ways. It stands tall with like so many other like fucking science fiction shows. It's not hard sci-fi by any means, but you just follow these group of characters that work as bounty hunters, as these space cowboys that just travel around the fucking, just travel on space and get into trouble and can't seem to make a fucking dime.
No matter how many times like they actually do like catch someone or like succeed, and then it ends up blowing up in their face.
And
then they're back on their asses.
Back on their asses, barely making just like ends meet. And you love its core cast of characters. They're all fantastic characters. And so many times, like the show teases for so long about like the true like story behind certain characters, like their motivations, their pasts. And what is so great about the show, I don't remember how long it is exactly. It's like, it's not crazy long. It's a pretty digestible amount of episodes.
It's like I think pretty sure it's fully like 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's like 2
but
full seasons.
They're like
it's like
20 episodes, 25, 24 episodes each.
Yeah, but so there's a lot of the show. But what is great about the show is it was clearly built with an understanding of exactly how long it was going to be. And so you do have some filler episodes and stuff, but by the end, it is a story that has told the story it wanted to tell. And it ends in a very definitive and fantastic way that I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, I still need to finish it
Yes, you do.
because I love it already, or like, I'm probably halfway through.
But I mean, there are so many episodes that have just stuck with me all the years after I watch it for the first time. Even episodes that like I don't think are super highly acclaimed in the show. Like I don't know what episodes you've gone through, so I don't want to like spoil things too in depth, but there's like this one episode where you meet essentially like this little boy who ends up being like have you seen this one? You know what I'm talking
With
about?
Edward?
What?
Which one? Or oh no, oh yeah.
Where he
The-
like
the-
ends up being like really old.
Yeah.
I don't know, like something about that episode like fucked with me when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, I can agree.
Faye, there's an episode all about her past.
Yeah.
And it is nuts.
Interesting.
And not a direction I thought the show would ever go in.
Yeah, especially like towards the end of that episode, I was like, what?
Yeah, I know. Also, I never thought it'd be so hard to find a VHS player. Oh, sorry, a Betamax player.
Betamax, yeah. They keep finding VHS players.
Yeah, that was fine.
Not Betamax.
Betamax was the problem. I don't think I've ever seen a Betamax player.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what that show does is it wants you to go along on a ride. And it's one of the coolest fucking rides you can go on.
Yeah.
And I have loved it forever.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
And again, what a fucking ending. See you, Space Cowboy.
Okay.
What's your number one, Chase?
My number one anime of all time
I think we all can probably guess what it is.
that
Yeah,
I've
you've
enjoyed,
already said.
enjoyed the most,
in an
actually spent
episode,
the
actually.
most time with episode-wise,
Ooh,
Oh.
deja vu.
the longest. Naruto Shippuden.
Yup.
Yeah. And there are a lot of reasons for it. It really, because I had heard so much about it, like in high school, because my friends had watched it, and would just like reference it or like they thought it was really cool. So I think actually what I ended up doing first was my school library had the manga. And we had a big library.
Clearly.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they had like whole manga section.
My school library, I'm not even sure it had books.
Yeah, my school library only had educational stuff.
Yeah,
There was
mine
nothing
too.
fun in there
Our library was
past
like really big.
middle school.
Not one fun thing.
It had a lot of stuff.
Oh, actually, my high school did not have a library.
What? That can't be true.
Her high school was on a college campus.
Yeah, we used the colleges,
Oh, okay.
but like my high school itself didn't have a library.
Interesting.
Sorry,
Everything
continue.
from my school was donated through benefactors and
Fucking fancy
Freaking
boy.
rich kid.
yeah.
There's a reason. I don't know if I've ever told this story on the podcast where I knew your name for like a week before I knew you.
Oh, Kyle. Are you thinking about what I'm thinking about?
I already
with
know
his
you are.
name?
All I know is just like I remember I was at work and I saw that like, oh, we hired some new guy, and I was looking at the names on the list and it was like Chase Matherly. And I'm like, oh, fucking Chase Matherly of House Matherly of the Matherly dynasty.
See, what I love about that is that I was like, oh, hey, Kyle, do you know who Chase Matherly is? And you're like, oh, Chase Matherly of the Matherly.
The
And then,
dynasty.
what was it, like less than 5 minutes later, he walks in. And then he walks out. I was like, is that him?
Like I have no idea.
I was like, do you think he heard us? Because
Nope.
we were still laughing as he walked in,
Nope.
Nope, didn't hear a thing.
which is great.
Yeah.
'Cause I ended up dating that boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the rest, as they say,
Is history
happened.
happened. Yeah. So my library had the manga and I read some of it, but they didn't. I don't think they had like a full set. Or they
No
had,
one
like,
has a full set
yeah.
of Naruto manga.
Yeah, they had like weird like breaks or like certain ones.
Like,
I'm
oh,
like,
here's 1 and 3 and 4.
yeah,
and
I think
8.
that was like 1, 2, 5. I was like, wait. Okay.
Oh God.
So I got through like I think 2 of them.
What about the whole hidden mist arc? You missed it.
I
Get
missed
it?
it.
Ah.
Yeah, but so then I find it on Hulu.
Hello.
I think it was on Hulu. Naruto, not Shippuden, but just start Naruto. You know, just start with the basics.
Mhm.
And Naruto itself is long.
Yes, it is.
It's like 200 episodes, I think, by itself.
And it's pathetically short by comparison.
Yeah. So I believe it because that whole Naruto.
That's right. You did watch it all in English.
Yeah, I watched it. Okay, yeah. So that's the thing. I watched it dubbed. Naruto, in its entirety, was dubbed. And at this point, I had watched like both subbed and dubbed. I didn't really have a preference, but since it was dubbed, I'll watch it dubbed. It was annoying, but it was also because he was a kid, right? He's literally a kid.
Yes.
And I knew that it was going somewhere. And I enjoyed the stories and like each episode, I enjoyed it. I really did. But it was kind of weird to have like a really small kid protagonist, but he's growing up. And it was enjoyable to see him like overcome all these things and, stick it to his rival Sasuke and like show off for, his crush Sakura and all this stuff. And that went on for 200 episodes. Granted, I skipped fillers.
So it's much shorter.
Yeah, no, I had filler lists up because I'm like, fuck no. Because I think I started watching some fillers. I'm like, there is literally no point to this.
There's literally a whole season of filler.
Yeah, I'm like, there's literally no point in watching this. And it's all out already, so I have no reason to wait for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to skip all the fillers. So, except for like maybe partially filler, because there's the filler list I was using was like, there's canon, partially filler, and then all filler. So I just skipped the all filler and watched the partially filler. And that's still like a lot of episodes. By the end, I was fucking hooked. Like, well, I mean, before then, obviously, but I loved this, how like expanded this universe could go, and like all the characters that Naruto met and like relationships that he formed, and all this stuff, about the world itself, and it's about this kid having the dream of becoming Hokage. It's leading his village, for mostly wrong reasons in the beginning, and then. Yep. And he's really like he's an obnoxious kid. Like he's really fucking annoying, and not really likable at the beginning.
Yep.
But then he ends up like making these friendships with people and really having a lasting impact on many people's lives, and they have a lasting impact on his life, and his development, his growth. And then we get to the end of Naruto, and the character Jiraiya I fucking loved.
Jiraiya was great.
Yeah, and then there's that gap between Naruto and Shippuden of his training with Jiraiya, and then he comes back first episode of Shippuden, and I was on the edge because I was like, what? Like, because it's a time jump, and he's older. He's a little he's a teenager now. He's grown up. He has a different set of clothes. That's how you know it's a time jump, and he's animated differently. And I was like, what? I didn't know if I liked it at first. I'm like, whatever. And then I'm like, wait a second. This is a different show.
Yes, it is.
This show is much more badass. Like, this show is where the fuck it's at. Building on these characters that we already know and love and hate.
Yep.
And turning their badass up. I was so hyped. And I'm like, okay, this is where it gets really good.
Because
yeah, go ahead.
Because like the first Naruto and stuff is really cool, but like it's similar in concept to like My Hero Academia, which you brought up. Like it's all about like these young ninjas, like slowly like building up their skills and getting better, and kind of stepping into the world. And so you had like these big crises like going on and stuff, but there was always like the older generation of characters that were like really the ones who were trying to handle these threats.
They were really the cool ones.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
And it was always them trying to handle these threats while our other heroes were trying to handle like smaller threats, like happening around the same time or getting way in over their heads.
Yeah, like these missions were like way more in depth than they thought they were.
And so but
then in those situations, they were the ones that like their true colors showed and like their potential really showed.
Yes.
But then like in the end, Kakashi really helped.
The original Naruto, best described as, and then Kakashi saved them.
Yeah.
But it felt fine because they still accomplished a lot,
and
earned a lot, and then Kakashi was fucking awesome, so it worked.
Yeah.
But Deus Ex Kakashi. But then Shippuden happens.
Yeah.
And these characters are kind of really taking much larger steps into adulthood.
Yes.
It also did the same thing many anime do during the middle of a time jump, which is like, look, most of our cast have kind of not.
Matured?
Well, no. That's not where I'm going at all. It's look, a lot of our cast have kind of fallen behind on the power scale, and they've
Right.
become
Oh.
less and less relevant.
Yes.
Let's
lot
just
of
take
characters.
a time where all these characters can get a huge power boost, and they're all relevant again.
Yeah.
Maybe not as relevant,
Yeah,
but
but like
they're
80% of the characters were just like, oh yeah, they're there,
yeah.
but they're nowhere near as
Like,
powerful.
oh, cool, Sakura's here again. She'll throw kunai and
That's
run
like
away.
that's a whole thing though. Like that's a whole arc, and that's a whole like character arc. As
Oh, I
least,
know.
Is her like feeling like she's doing nothing because literally she does
She
nothing.
does nothing.
Compared to fucking Sasuke and Naruto, like the the two most powerful that are like
Yeah.
competing against each other. And I mean, and that jump is really in Naruto. He's being overpowered by the Nine Tails and all. Like the Akatsuki are after him for this tailed beast inside of him and this power, and then in the time jump is really to train using that power to train to fight the Akatsuki, who will then, and that's why like I was super confused because like they build up the Akatsuki as this organization that's really like after Naruto towards the end of Naruto, and then it ends before any of that is resolved,
Yep.
and that's really like a big part of Shippuden, at least the beginning of it.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk of the first real overall arc.
Yeah.
Like the pain arc and all that shit.
Yeah, oh yeah, I love that arc. But that was like it was weird to me at first, and then I'm like, okay, I see why, because there's like way more depth to this like this arc. And so these characters, especially like a select few of them, you really get attached to,
Mm-hmm.
and then some of them die, which is fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, but I mean, all great stories, you should have sacrifices.
Exactly.
Otherwise, But dude, really, the time jump was to make it so that our heroes are now at a point where, while they're still outmatched, they're now at a place where they are expected to be a part of
Yeah.
dealing with these major threats.
Yeah, they're the ones that are taking on higher threats, not as much as like at the end or in obviously Boruto, they're that older generation now,
Yeah.
but they are definitely expected to assist,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the power, the capability to assist.
As
Yeah.
the story goes along.
Yeah, and as the story goes along, like they two jump ahead again, and Sasuke leaves the Hidden Mist village. Before that,
Yeah, I'm like,
in Naruto,
Way out of order here.
like yeah, but he's gone at this point, so it's like really Naruto saving the Hidden Leaf Village, and he becomes the hero. And all of a sudden, like there's that switch where he's the beloved character, like beloved person in the village because he saved the village. And it's interesting because like throughout, after that, like people are like they're definitely like him a lot more. But then it's like almost like they forget also that he's the one that saved, like almost single-handedly saved the village against this fucking mass threat.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back and forth between like, oh, he's like really powerful, and oh, he's just a kid, and like, oh, and then like just the fights, like these really big culminating boss fights
Basically,
are
yeah.
so cool in that like it's really an anime thing, especially for Naruto, where in each of these fights, like he has a new power or like a new mode that he can like tap into and fight in. But it's all so fucking cool. And in I know at this point it's pretty like far into the anime, especially after Naruto, and a lot of people don't who haven't watched any of it don't really know, because for a lot of people like Naruto proper is what they know of Naruto, and some maybe like beginning of Shippuden is like his power level is like, oh, they know like basic, like, oh, he has his power inside of him, but he's just like an obnoxious kid. Because I knew this now because we were playing Jump Force, and I picked Naruto because on my team as like to lead my team because he's fucking awesome, especially like in his later forms, which I know they're gonna include in the game, and his powers. But some of the other people that we were playing with were just like, oh, Naruto, like what the fuck is he gonna do against like these people that are fucking overpowered? I'm like, you don't know like endgame Naruto.
You know shit.
Yeah. And then we were playing, and I was like doing the abilities, and they're like, what the fuck is that? Like fucking tailed beast bomb in like with
Yeah.
Kurama form. It's super badass. And just like him unlocking this power and like tapping into and more controlling his like these powers and learning more is just super satisfying. And like culminating in his journey like towards the end of just like this badassery and like saving everybody again and again is super satisfying. And it's really, it is because that's 500 episodes of Shippuden alone, so that's like 700 episodes total of Naruto, and just like the amount of time that I sunk into that.
You
Oh my
spent
god,
over 200 hours watching this fucking show.
But holy shit, is it amazing? Like,
yeah.
And I mean, there might be some stories in anime that are better and that are more impactful, or not necessarily impactful, but there's like probably told better and like other reasons why certain animes might be better than this. But like the amount of time and the amount of dedication and the like what I've had in return, the return on investment I think is high for me of this anime, and that's why it's my number one. Is I spent so long investing myself in it, and the annoying thing about this is that I just finished this anime despite starting it. What year is it?
It's 2019.
Started it 3 years ago. And I just finished it because I watched it dubbed.
Yes, we know.
Yeah.
We've definitely talked about this on
So
the podcast.
like I said, I
Multiple
started
times.
multiple
Naruto.
times.
Started Naruto dubbed.
He won't
And
let
then
it, he
when
won't stop the
Shippuden
story
came out,
anyway.
I got through all the available episodes dubbed, and I'm like, oh shit, I've made a
You
terrible
have
mistake.
literally said this at least
I've
twice.
made a terrible
I can think of
mistake,
2 different times when the story has been told.
Yeah.
and I had
Just
to
on the
wait.
podcast.
I had to wait months in between, just having like.
We know.
10
I've personally
episodes.
heard this story, so
But not all of our listeners listen to all of our episodes.
We
okay?
will rebel against this.
No,
Fact is, Chase waited for the dub like a fucking idiot. All right.
months in between, and they like it just came out this year, with the last set of episodes that I watched dubbed.
This is why I watch shit subbed.
Yeah,
The end. Look,
I love Naruto.
Naruto's great. It's not on my top 10 list. But I never technically finished the show.
I need to have one shonen, one shonen jump.
But I have a couple Shonen Jump. Where do you think Dragon Ball Z came from?
No, that's what I'm saying. I need to have one shonen jump.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Isn't My Hero Academia also Shonen Jump?
Yes, it is.
Isn't Full Metal Alchemist also Shonen Jump?
Is it? If it is, I hope.
Pretty
I want to see
confident-
Edward Elric in Jump Force.
Pretty confident that
Oh, Death Note is too.
Death Note is Shonen Jump.
Shut the fuck up.
But no, actually, yeah, no, I don't think FMA was Shonen Jump. I don't actually remember. I don't know. But regardless, you have plenty of Shonen Jump shows.
Yeah.
But Naruto is an example of what anime can do very well.
Mm.
Like that, talk about a long form narrative.
Yeah.
It's impossible, I'd say, to watch 700 episodes of something and not get emotionally connected.
Yeah.
And that's not taking away from the show. The show is really fun and it has really good character development.
Mhm.
Like that is half the show is character development.
Yeah.
And just watching not just physically but also emotionally, but like both of them in tandem.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of fun. And you just watch as these characters, like you'll watch like the last couple episodes of Naruto and you can just remember like, oh my God, this is that shitty kid who stole a scroll to learn how to make copies of himself.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if it's ever addressed in Boruto how you can just do that off the bat, like before it even goes to fucking academy.
Whatever. But regardless, it's just like,
Yeah, especially like a forbidden jutsu.
yeah.
too.
It's also like his dad's thing, though. He probably figured it out.
Yeah.
But like, regardless, it's just like what a fucking journey a character has been on.
Yes.
It's impossible to not feel that, and all the other characters too. Naruto is a huge cast of characters,
Huge.
like fucking gigantic.
Yeah, I mean, no,
like
like,
needlessly large.
yeah, and the character of Gaara too, just like complete 180.
Oh yeah, talk about it. Just from a villain to just an
Yeah.
incredibly compelling hero.
Yeah.
And you have Sasuke.
Yeah, but mostly all of the villains by the end aren't villains anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when after Naruto, like I think that's also what they stress about the power of Naruto as a person who can change people is like mostly every villain he comes into contact with in the end is no longer a villain because they talk to him.
He punch them hard enough to get through their bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But that's also partially because that is a show where almost no villains are just for the evils.
Yeah.
Like-
Except for like the main at the very end.
Yes. But, I mean, the majority of the villains have at least understandable motivations. They've gone way too far.
Yeah.
But, like, you get kind of where that inception started.
Yeah. And it's very good storytelling in that regard.
It is. Yeah. So, yeah, Naruto.
Yeah.
It's an example of kind of the straight-laced version of the shonen anime kind of done to an extremely high level. My number one is an example of a shonen style anime that kind of subverts itself a little bit in regards to Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes.
Now, specifically Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood,
Brotherhood.
though I do actually have a very soft spot in my heart for the original Full Metal Alchemist. There are things I think Full Metal Alchemist does better than Brotherhood, especially in the early chunk of it. Brotherhood expects you to watch the original show for a lot of the emotional investment in the early chunk of it, and it's clear watching it that it does so. But
That being said, I watched it first and mostly all of because I didn't watch all of
well, I mean,
the original.
it explains
And-
everything.
Yeah, and I was emotionally attached nonetheless, like immediately, like
But you
fully.
just didn't.
But yeah, there was no like the development was shorter.
Yes, I mean, like Mace Hughes.
Even
Oh.
so, like I was still extremely
Dude,
emotionally
not as
attached to
much
Hughes.
as me. I promise. And like Shao Tucker, like 2
Yes.
episodes of that.
Yeah.
Where like you met him before his arc, really. And you just saw him and
Right.
like it was just a thing that was happening in the background before like suddenly it mattered
Mhm.
because you got to know Nina and Alexander
Yeah.
and like all this stuff. Like, I know.
Why?
Yeah, Cheyenne can
Kyle?
talk about this one too.
I know.
Yeah, this is also my number one.
But really, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is just, I think, anime done almost perfect.
Yeah,
Like about as perfect as you can expect.
it is extremely good.
It is so fucking good. And
Top 10. top 2.
I don't
It's my number 2, but I mean, I was only kind of teetering between Shippuden and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
but I get
just
it.
because
I
of the-
get
yeah,
how
it is.
important Naruto is to you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to argue. It's not in my
I would
top
say
10.
there
but-
actually would probably be tied for first, to
but-
be honest.
Yeah. But again, like I'm not going to argue with Naruto against you. I get how important that show is to you.
Yeah.
But Brotherhood is just a show that, I mean, like, you have such a fundamental difference between the two of them also, though, because, like, Naruto Shippuden is like a fucking 700
Yeah.
episode epic,
Yeah.
whereas, like, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, like, it's not a short show by any
Yeah.
means, but it's very much, like, everything in it matters.
It's like 50 episodes.
Right around there.
Yeah.
But, like, everything in it matters, even the shit you wouldn't expect to matter.
Oh yeah,
Like,
comes back.
Everything comes back.
Yeah.
Even shit that you're like, oh, that's a filler episode.
Yeah,
Then, like,
it's
30
not.
episodes later, no, it was not.
Nope.
They have laid down all of the groundwork for everything that you need to know and everything that will ever matter. That is a show that is so smart about how it approaches everything.
Mhm.
But really, at the end of the day, that is a show that has some of the best characters.
Very good
Yes.
characters.
Ever.
Very, very good
I
characters.
think that is why I loved it so
Mhm.
much, is because there's no character that I hate except for the ones you're supposed to hate.
Yes. And even then, they're great characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Now-
they're great still.
Now, Cheyenne,
Yes.
because at least when I met you,
Yeah.
you were not really into anime. Besides, like,
No, not it.
older
Yeah,
Sailor Moon.
my original view of anime was when I was younger. I watched anime. When I got older, it was like, oh, you're Asian and you watch anime, and it was like not cool to be watching anime. So I stopped. And it also became less available to me because Toonami changed its time slot.
Yeah.
And I no longer had access, and my the reason I watched One Piece first was because my nana had a that's grandmother in Tagalog, one way to say grandmother. She had
should
a
correct yourself because it's not.
it's
yeah.
not the traditional, but it's regional to my family. My grandmother had a bunny ears TV
Yeah.
All right.
where she our friend hacked it, and somehow I had a channel that played One Piece.
Right.
That's why I know
That's
One
all
Piece.
it played.
Yeah, well, 'cause
24/7.
for the time that I watched that channel, it was like One Piece, and then it turned into something else. I don't remember what it turned into. So for a long time, I knew One Piece, Dragon Ball Z specifically
Yeah.
Yeah.
first,
Wasn't
and
like,
then
isn't it
Sailor
like G
Moon.
Kids, or was that the channel? Where it's like that's like
Oh,
widely,
One Piece?
like widely available anime.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know. I specifically remember Toonami. I don't
Okay.
remember what One Piece was on, but I watched a lot of One Piece, especially because my godbrother loved it. But after a while, it just wasn't in my area. It wasn't cool to be watching anime. Huh?
Sorry, I'm trying to help. I think you're thinking of 4Kids.
Maybe.
Oh, 4Kids? I remember 4Kids.
Maybe.
That was
I
a
don't know.
channel. That was a group that,
Yeah,
if
there-
I recall, did One Piece in the West.
Oh no, there's also Funimation, but
Yeah.
like it used to say Funimation or something. I don't remember what it
I
was.
don't know.
But yeah,
Annie
in,
Palooks. Sorry.
oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But like in
We
the
know them all.
area I grew up in with the kids I was around, it wasn't cool to be and because there also wasn't very many Asian kids around, it wasn't cool to be the Asian watching anime, especially around other Asian kids. To be fair, I'm not that Asian. Like I'm only half Filipino, but I was recognized as Asian because there was so little Asians around me that like I was the Asian friend for a very long time.
Gotcha.
And it was like just not cool to be the Asian kid watching anime. So once Toonami was no longer like easy for me to watch, I just kind of fell out of it until Chase made me watch it again, to which I was like, I really don't want to watch this, Chase.
Yeah.
But then he showed me actually good ones.
Yep, that's the key.
So
Yeah.
and then I
that's-
found some on my own.
Yeah, and that, I think Fullmetal Alchemist was the first one that you really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like I think
Not
first
the first episode though.
first I showed you was like a Kame ga Kill, and then
Yeah.
and then you enjoyed that, but then we skipped over to
ReZero.
ReZero,
How
which you
dare
didn't
you.
like,
Mm-mm.
and then later on, I think on a trip was it? to
Yeah,
San
it was
Francisco
on
or
a
something?
trip.
I
He
started.
made me watch Brotherhood, and the first episode I was like, whatever. Then we got to the second episode, and I was like, oh wait, Chase, keep playing it. And then I don't remember what happened, but he's like, no, I'm going to sleep. And I was like, but the show. And then we just didn't pick it up again, so I had to watch it on my own.
Yeah,
To which I
but-
did.
Yeah, but she was like, she had that bite of investment, and then
Yeah.
and it hooked her to a point where she like watched it all.
Yeah,
Mostly,
I
like,
watched
on her
it.
own.
I watched the majority of it on my own within like 2 weeks, I think. Like every time I got off work, I would go watch it. And then because my work is weird, so sometimes I had gap times. That was a long time, so I'd watch it again. And when I got to what I knew was the last season, I kept getting scared because I was like, no, is it almost done? Is it almost done? Because it felt like it wasn't done yet.
Yeah.
But a lot was happening, and I was like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
this is good and gonna like just get me. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, the next one's the last episode? And I just stopped. And I was like, no, I don't want this to be done. So for a good, I think like 3 to almost 5 days, I was like, not watching anything. Then I finally just watched it. But yeah, I actually think Brotherhood is a better introduction to anime than Death Note, because I have seen some of Death Note. I watched Death Note before Brotherhood, but I like fell out of Death Note mostly because availability. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And then she watched Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, the original. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still in the. I like that one, but it's more of when I have time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she watched more than I did. of
Yeah,
that.
because it's actually really great.
It is. Like, I feel like it gets a lot of shit because Brotherhood is better.
Yeah,
But
I see why.
I
But-
like that, like with the original Full Metal Alchemist, it is darker. It is much
like
more
that part
serious
of
and it
it,
is
though.
darker. Me too. I feel like there are a lot of moments that Brotherhood kind of undercuts with humor.
Yeah.
That the original was just like, no, you're living in this for a bit.
Yeah. And then it's weird though because they're so young at the
Yes.
start, and then they really push more so how young they are
Yes.
in regular Full Metal Alchemist. And it's like, oh wait, but this is happening to like little children. Oh
Yeah.
shoot.
That's kind of the tragic nature of it.
It is 100% one
Yeah.
of the main tragic natures of it.
Mhm.
But it is a really great story. again,
Ooh, it gets messed up too.
it gets super fucking. It starts messed up.
Oh, you're right.
It starts
Okay, like
very
the
messed
whole
up.
thing is messed
the
up,
whole,
but
the whole
The premise of the
pretense
show
it, yeah.
is fucked up as shit.
Yeah.
You just got two little
Yeah.
boys whose mom dies, and they're like, we
Yeah.
can't deal with this, so they try and bring her back with alchemy. One loses his entire fucking body, one loses an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
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 But I think Full Metal Alchemist is a great show to get into if you like that world. Like, just keep living in it. And because they expand on a lot of characters that exist in Brotherhood, but they have way more importance or more of a story.
Well, okay, and it makes sense because again, the way that Full Metal Alchemist worked with the two different anime is like Full Metal Alchemist was huge as a manga, fucking huge. It was a huge hit,
Understandable.
and they wanted that anime adaptation ASAP,
Yeah.
and so they started adapting it very quickly.
Yeah.
And eventually, it hit a point where, and that's part of the reason why the original Full Metal Alchemist takes its time, because they didn't want to burn through their content too quickly.
Mhm.
So it allows everything to breathe more. It has more. It has filler episodes
They're
that,
fun.
yeah,
they're
but
good.
and they find ways of like introducing things in interesting ways, like with Barry the Chopper, how he first like kidnaps like Ed and almost kills him
Yeah.
back before he's even in the robot,
Yeah.
and all this other like it brings things in very dark and like interesting ways, and it takes its time and it gets you to really know these characters before the tragedies really start striking.
Mm.
And it is remarkably good at this. And my God. But then the problem was they eventually they were about to catch up to the manga.
Mm-hmm.
And they were given a choice. You can either do a bunch of filler and wait, or here's a crazy idea. Where do you think the story's going?
Yeah. That's what happens with some anime.
It's rare, but it
Yeah.
does.
In Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That's
Just
it.
putting it
It's
out there.
it's Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's why there's so many jokes though about like can't wait for Game of Thrones Brotherhood.
How it's supposed to be.
Yeah, the actual adaptation of the
That
thing.
would be okay.
I guarantee you one day,
One day.
a long time from now,
Decade
they're gonna
from now.
remake this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll be a while, and we'll be like 80, and we'll be like, I remember the frickin' first Game of Thrones, and people hated that thing at the
piece
end.
of crap that they fucking quit Star Wars after.
We were all making jokes how they were trying to get through it to get to Star Wars, and they didn't even fucking do Star Wars. The fuckers. But
Unless they eventually go back to Star Wars.
Either
doubt
way,
it.
I'm gonna be bad. But
still mad.
Jeez.
Yeah, so they just kind of went like with their own fucking way with it, and oh my God, does it go off the rails? Like I don't know again how far you are in the original Full
You're
Metal
not that
Alchemist. It gets real different, Cheyenne.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness.
How far is that? I don't even remember how many episodes.
I don't remember. But yeah, there's a point where it diverges hard.
okay.
And it just becomes a totally different show.
Okay.
And like there are characters who's like actual like because like the homunculi are way more important in the original Full Metal Alchemist with way more relevance and backstory
Okay.
in ways that they matter so much more.
Interesting.
And they are central to the plot the entire time as more than just like bad guys to fight.
Interesting.
Yeah, like Lust
Right.
is a huge character, especially in the original. Yeah. But like she's a huge character in the original. Fucking huge. And she never stops mattering until the end.
I'm lusting for some lust.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, Chase.
And then good old Travis Willingham as Roy Mustang.
Yeah, I totally forgot.
One of his first big anime roles.
Hmm.
And what a fucking emergence. I still love that story where it's just like he was just asking, he was begging
To be on
Laura
Dragon Ball-
to be on
Dragon
Dragon Ball Z for the longest fucking time. She's like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, you see what I can do. She's never made it happen. And then eventually he's like, fine, yeah, there's this fucking Full Metal Alchemist show. He's like, I'm in.
He does very well.
He's
Yeah.
great as
Great.
Mustang. Mustang's a great character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, basically, Full Metal Alchemist is just anime the anime in all the best ways.
I mean, I would say JoJo's anime the anime
You're right,
in all
but-
the ways.
In all the ways.
Always.
But it is just an example of anime, I think, at some of its purest, where it's It's silly and weird and dark
Yeah.
and fucked up and epic and action packed
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
It is everything you'd want in a show, and it has an amazing plot and really great characters, awesome animation. Like, I have no real complaints about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, except for I just think back to the original Full Metal Alchemist and just kind of go, well, I think they did the beginning better in that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree. I think the beginning in Full Metal Alchemist is better than Brotherhood.
But again, that's because
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist is like Brotherhood is made literally with the expectation you've seen the original, and so like we just got to get through these beats because they're important to the story. And if somebody watches this first, they won't be lost.
Yeah.
But like
Right.
Yeah. It's tailored really well.
It is.
You look confused, Chase.
No, you're right. You're
Okay.
right. And
Yeah.
yeah. To a testament to my top 2 anime is I think it was we went to Animanga
Yeah.
Expo.
Yes. Last year.
Yeah, in
You look
LA.
so confused.
I think that's where it was.
Yes.
That I saw like these. What are they called? You know what I'm talking about?
You know,
What the
you're
fuck
you're
are-
doing the Beyonce hands. So like I can't.
All the single ladies.
If you like
all
it.
the single ladies. Lenticular, holographic prints, like the ones that changed based on
Oh,
I literally
okay,
have no idea what the
okay.
fuck you're talking about.
the like
Okay,
those
got it.
prints that change image depending on the
Yeah.
direction you're looking at them in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there was a bunch of different anime about like a lot of it was kind of either like characters, and then when you walked up to the side, it was their transformation, like their
Yeah.
power up. Some of it was just multiple characters, whatever. And I bought 2.
Yes.
I bought
Where are
one.
they, Chase?
They're in my room
Where?
on my desk.
Are
Yeah.
they out being
Yes, you can see
shown?
them.
Sort of.
So the first one is of Naruto, and it is like regular Naruto, and then I think it's Sage Mode Naruto.
Okay.
It's fucking awesome. Actually, it might just be like Sage Mode, Six Tails Mode, that combination. Naruto.
Fact is,
And then
Naruto,
yeah.
other Naruto.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the second one I bought is Edward Elric and Alphonse Elric,
Yeah.
which is fucking dope.
Yep.
Yeah, and like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is really dope. Like it's it's really cool as well, and I think that's kind of like a lot of anime interest me for like the characters, story, like emotional connection, and how cool they are.
And this ticks all those
Yeah.
boxes.
Yeah.
It takes them all highly.
The largest of check marks.
Yes.
So yeah, if you want to watch anime, you got a lot of different choices here.
Yeah. And for a girl's perspective, because
Mhm.
girls often don't like the same type of anime as guys.
Not
Not
really at all,
shonen.
no.
Yeah.
Shoujo.
My quick list.
Yes,
Brotherhood number 1. I'm going to go 1 to 4 because that's my whole list.
it's 4.
It's not all she's seen, but it's all she cares about.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
only 4 I really care about. I mean, yeah. So there's 1, Brotherhood.
Full Metal
2,
Alchemist
oh
Brotherhood.
shoot, I don't remember my order.
Yeah.
You only had 4.
I know. I don't necessarily agree with this order every day, okay?
Welcome to our problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Brotherhood, always my number 1. Number 2 today is Violet Evergarden.
Great
Oh,
show.
that's your number 2. Okay.
It's a great
Yeah, that's
show.
my
That
my
was
number
number
2.
4.
I thought about it more, and
Uh-huh.
it's my number 2
Violet
because
Evergarden.
I care way more about that sequel than any of the I cared about the other ones. Number 3 is Sailor Moon, which
Okay.
I just recently realized I actually haven't seen all of Sailor Moon because the last season was not released in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
for multiple reasons.
Yes.
But
What was-
Many reasons.
what were the reasons?
huh?
What were the reasons?
No longer family friendly.
Ooh, okay, I'll watch that season.
Yeah, there's a lot. There also like the creator, the producer wanted more money for it to be released in the U.S.
Makes sense. Money grab.
But yeah. Anyway, but Sailor Moon was like my real introduction into anime and the one I actually cared about for the longest time. I used to wait hours, like all day at school, just to watch Sailor Moon.
To be fair, I used to watch Sailor Moon. It was good.
Yeah, Sailor Moon's great. I also own 3 of the movies.
Yeah, they're right
on
here in the
VHS.
closet on VHS.
When I was younger, I had like all the Sailor Moon stuff. Never had a costume, but I had like her little wand and the compact that turned her into Sailor Moon.
Oh my god.
I had Minnie Moon's like hair bow and
Mhm.
stuff, and like clothes with the Sailor Scouts on it. And I still remember the Sailor Scouts, even though I don't remember a lot of the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my last one is Little Witch, My Little Witch.
No,
No,
Little Witch
Witch Academia.
Yeah.
I was right the first time. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good show too.
I watched that without much of Chase. No, I didn't watch that at all with Chase.
Yeah. I recommended it to you.
Yeah. I think I actually finished that before Brotherhood
Ah.
because witches.
Witches be witches.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's a good show.
It is.
I
Also,
liked it too.
from a girl's perspective, I think Rosario Vampire is very big. I never got to finish that one because of I watch only dubbed and for a long time not available to me. I don't read fast enough for subbed. Rosario Vampire and Vampire Knight. I remember that Vampire Knight being a big deal, but I thought it was stupid when I was
Okay.
younger.
Yeah. I
And
can
then
see
I went back and watched some of it, and I was like, "This is still stupid."
There you go.
I get why like teenage girls were so into it because it's a lot like Twilight, but still,
And then
Vampire Knight.
Fruits Basket. All right.
Oh
thanks so
my
much.
gosh, Fruits Basket! I read the
Oran
manga.
High School Host Club.
Yes,
yep,
Oran High School
that
Host
one
Club.
too. Read the manga.
Alrighty. Well, this has been quite the episode.
All left.
It has.
So sorry, Cheyenne. More for you to
Yeah,
edit.
whatever.
Yeah, she doesn't actually believe me. That's fine. I'm lying. So, anime. It's quite the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And we love it.
I do.
He's not putting words in anybody else's mouth.
No.
I am not afraid to do that.
Sam, I am.
Green eggs and ham.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Yes. Thank you for
Just like,
listening.
I'm so done with this bullshit.
And let us know your top 10 anime of all time.
Or just top 4.
Give me one anime you've seen this week.
Cheyenne doesn't follow
Give
rules.
me one anime. Just any. I'll
Any
take it.
suggestions?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inu-
Suggest more
Yeah.
shows for Chase.
And I'll let you know if I've already seen it or not.
Inuyasha?
Let's get so many great shows that
I'm sorry. I'm trying to-
Inuyasha.
Yeah, that one.
I've
I
seen
watched some
I've
of
seen
that.
some of that too. And
I have watched
Don't
all of
know-
Inuyasha.
I don't know
Oh.
why I stopped because it was great.
Inuyasha was good,
I
man.
don't know why I stopped either.
But again, let's make Chase watch so many great anime that we
Uh,
push Sword Art Online off of his list.
12 Kingdoms didn't make my list.
Are you regretting that now?
It's probably number 12.
What was 11?
I don't know. I just thought it'd be comical to put it at 12.
I know why you said that.
I mean, 11 might be 11.
I'm just judging you. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. We will see you next week with another regular episode of the ZymCast.
Bye.
Bye. This is not good.
Bye.